Okay, video 2 for lesson 7.1. So now we're going to get right into the adding and subtracting part. Now, I think this is something you've seen before. So we're going to talk about a little acronym. And we kind of talked about it when we did solving equations, right? But that acronym is CLT, right? CLT. And remember, CLT stands for combine like terms. So this is very important, right? So combine like terms. And when we talk about polynomials and combine like terms, we are looking for the terms with the same variable or variables, same variable or variables, with the same exponents. Or exponent, right? And again, for you guys, it's going to be mostly just x's, but there could be x's and y's, could be x's, y's, and z's, whatever, right? But the same variable with the same exponent. This is huge, okay? This is huge. Combining like terms in polynomials. So for this problem right here, we're going to add, okay? Now, there are two ways to do this. We can do it vertically, or we can do it horizontally, and I'll show you both, right? So we want to find out what is the sum of 4x squared plus 2x minus 3 and 3x squared plus 6x. So when we think about sum, we should be thinking about adding, right? Plus. So you will typically see this problem without the and. You'll just see a plus sign in between those parentheses. That means you add. So when we do it vertically, if you think about how you learned to add way back in, first, second, third grade, you're going to line up your like terms. So I'm going to put the 4x squared plus 2x minus 3 on top. So 4x squared plus 2x minus 3. And now this 3x squared plus 6, I'm going to put underneath it, but I'm going to space it out so that the x squareds are aligned and the constants are aligned. Notice that this term, or this polynomial right here, has no x term, right? There's no just x. It goes from x squared to a constant. And now we're going to add these two together. So when I add these, I'm going to, again, add vertically. So 4x squared and 3x squared makes 7x squareds. There is no x term to combine with the plus 2x, so the plus 2x just comes down if you want to draw like an arrow. And then we're going to combine minus 3 and positive 6. There's more positives than negatives, so this is a positive, and you subtract them to get 3. And there is our final answer, our sum. Notice it's already in standard form, right? We want to make sure it's in highest power of x all the way down to the constant. Okay, when we do it horizontally, so we're just going to write this down. So I'm going to do 4x squared plus 2x minus 3 plus 3x squared plus 6x. Now, the beauty about addition is that this is not going to affect the signs of this polynomial. Right? When we talk about subtraction, this sign right here matters. But here the plus sign doesn't really matter. We're just combining like terms. So I start with my highest power, and you can underline or you can circle, whatever you want to do. I'm going to underline. So I have a 4x squared here and a 3x squared there. So we're going to combine 4 plus 3 to make 7x squareds. Then I have a 2x here. I have no x term there, so the 2x just comes. It is positive. And then minus 3 and positive 6 are my two constants. You combine those to get positive 3, and you notice you get the same answer. Okay, I am used to doing it horizontally, but if you want to do it vertically, that's your choice, right? But I will typically do it horizontally. So this is how we add by combining like terms. Okay, now we're going to find the difference. So now this is a whole different ball game to start, right? So when we think about difference, we need to think about subtracting, right? Notice the minus sign right here. This minus sign is a big deal, right? When you learned adding and subtracting, subtraction is just really adding the opposite. So this minus sign is going to affect things. Now, we're going to do this vertically here, and then horizontally in the next slide. So vertically, I'm going to put the 6x squared plus 3x minus 2 on top. I'll put the 3x squared plus 5x minus 8 on bottom. And again, it is subtraction, so I'll put a minus sign here and do this. And now, The issue with subtraction is that you need to add the opposite of these three terms down here. So I'm going to change colors. So I'm going to apply this negative sign to all three terms. So I'm going to add the opposite of each of these. So this 3x squared does become negative. And this is weird, right? It is a negative 3x squared. And I'm going to circle that. This 5x that's positive now becomes negative. And this 8, which was negative, now becomes positive. And now we're just going back to addition. Now we're just combining our like terms. So now 6 and negative 3 is 3x squareds. 3x minus 5x, there's more minus, that's minus 2x. And negative 2 plus 8, there's more positives, that's positive 6. So the reason I don't like vertical is because I think this is actually harder to do vertically than it is horizontally. Okay, so let's try it horizontally now. Okay, so now when we do horizontally, and I'll go back to red, so now I'll just rewrite this. So 6x squared plus 3x minus 2 minus 3x squared plus 5x minus 8. And now here's what's going to happen. This polynomial just comes down, and I don't need the parentheses. So 6x squared plus 3x minus 2. But now I need to, just like I did vertically, distribute this minus sign. You can think of this minus sign as a negative 1. That negative 1 needs to be distributed to each of the terms, which means they just change sign. So the 3x squared becomes negative 3x squared. The positive 5x just becomes negative 5x. And the negative 8 just becomes positive 8. And now I just do the underlining, right? So start with the highest power of x. I see 6x squared. I see a negative 3x squared. 6 minus 3 is 3x squared. Then I see a positive 3x and a negative 5x. More negatives. That's a negative 2x. And then negative 2 and positive 8. There's more positives. So that's a positive 6. And you get the same answer. So again, because of subtraction, this is why I do it horizontally. Addition and subtraction. Okay, let's do one more subtraction, right? Just because I think it's a little bit more difficult. So we're going to subtract these two polynomials. So I'm not going to rewrite. I'm just going to bring this first polynomial down. Don't need the parentheses. So 4x squared minus 5. I'm now going to distribute this negative sign to make this a negative 6x squared, a positive 3x, and a positive 1. Okay, I see, I'll change colors. I see a 4x squared is my highest power and a negative 6x squared. There's more negatives. There's 2 more negatives, so negative 2x squared. Then the x term is just there. There's only one of them, so that's a plus 3x. And then I see 2 constants, a negative 5 and a positive 1. There's more negatives, so you subtract and get negative 4. So again, with subtraction, if you want to make a little note here, because I didn't before, you need to distribute the negative. Right? Distribute. There we go. Okay, we got one more problem here, more of an application problem. So it says here, find the perimeter of the rectangle. So I'm telling you that this is a rectangle. So hopefully from your days, before Algebra 1, you know that the opposite sides are congruent or equal. So if that top side's a 2x plus 3, so is the bottom side. If this left side's an x plus 7, so is the right side. And now to find perimeter is just the sum of the side lengths. Or it's the distance around a figure. So we could do sum of side lengths. I'll do it this way because we've been talking about sum, right? So the perimeter is the sum of the side lengths. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2x plus 3. You can put in parentheses. I don't need to because I'm just adding. Plus x plus 7 plus 2x plus 3 plus x plus 7. Right? So I'm just adding up the distance around this figure. That is the perimeter, right? And now we're going to combine like terms. There are no x squared terms. I do see 1, 2, 3, 4 x terms though. Now these plus x's are just plus 1 x's. So we have 2, plus 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So we have 6 x's. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 constants. 3 and 7 is 10, plus 3 is 13, plus 10 is 20. That's positive 20. And if you want to be technical, right, perimeter is a distance or length, so it's just going to be units. So if it was feet, it'd be feet. If it was inches, it'd be inches. So 6x plus 20 units. Okay, so there's adding and subtracting. Best of luck on the practice. We'll see you in class.